Hey everyone, this is Steven here, back at it again with another video. In today's video, we're going to be looking at the vintage baseball sports card market, and we're going to see how it's been holding up over the past 90 days. But before we get into that, if you enjoy this type of content and would like to see more in the future, please feel free to hit the like button and also subscribe. So now that we got all of that out of the way, we can get into the actual video here. I did want to say that I hope everyone is having a great Saturday and weekend so far. The main goal and purpose of today's video is to take a look at the MLB baseball sports card market, and in particular, we're really going to be focusing in on some of the greatest baseball players of all time. We're going to be looking at some iconic and vintage baseball cards and see how they've been holding up over the past 90 days. Now, I thought it'd be fun to take a look at this because, as a lot of you guys and gals currently know, that the current modern MLB baseball sports card market, which is some of the newer and more current baseball cards and players, their cards have been trending down for quite some time and down pretty significantly. So I just wanted to take a look at some of the greatest baseball players of all time, which includes a lot of iconic and vintage baseball cards, just to see how those cards have been holding up over the last 90 days. Now we're going to start this list off with Mike Trout, and he's the only current baseball player on this list. The rest of the cards are going to be Hall of Fame players and some more older and vintage cards, but I did want to include Mike Trout on this list because he has been the best player in the game over the past decade or so. Now I know he's been battling some injuries over the past couple years, but some of the numbers that he's put up over the past decade make him a first ballot Hall of Famer, even if his career ended right now, but he's still only 30 years old and potentially could have quite a few decent years ahead of him if he can try to avoid some of these injuries. But still, over the past decade, he has put up some amazing numbers that make him a first ballot Hall of Famer. And I have his pretty iconic 2011 Topps update. This is just his base rookie card. I have this in a PSA 10 and also a PSA 9. So for the PSA 10 over the past 90 days, looks like the last sale was $2,600, which is actually flat. So 90 days ago, you could buy this card for the same price at $2,600. So we're pretty much flat for the PSA 10 Mike Trout rookie card, which is actually pretty good considering the modern and ultra modern MLB baseball sports card market is down a lot more than that over the past 90 days. And then we could take a look at his PSA 9. It looks like that's down about 22% over the past 90 days. So the PSA 9 is not holding up nearly as well as the PSA 10, down about 22%, which is actually a little bit less than a lot of the ultra modern and modern MLB baseball sports cards over the past 90 days. Next on the list, I'm going to switch over to a Hall of Famer, and this is a very iconic player and card I have here. This is the 1989 Upper Deck Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card, and this I have in a PSA 10 and also a PSA 9. And it looks like for the PSA 10, this is actually down about 13% over the past 90 days, whereas the PSA 9 is down about 2%. So this is actually a lot smaller decline than some of the ultra modern and modern cards that we've seen, such as the Tatises, the Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s, the Shohei Ohtanis, and cards like that. Those players and cards are down a lot more over the past 90 days or so. This card actually has pretty significant price difference. The PSA 10 is selling for $2,200, whereas the PSA 9 is selling for $218. So pretty big price discrepancies between the PSA 10 and the PSA 9. I think a lot of that has to do with the population report. The PSA 10 has about 4,000 cards in a PSA 10, whereas the PSA 9 has a whopping 26,895. So this is just a heavily printed card. So I think that has something to do with the price discrepancies between the PSA 9 and the PSA 10. But let's take a look at some other players and see how they're holding up. Next up, I have Derek Jeter in the 1993 Upper Deck SP Foil, another very iconic rookie card of one of the greatest shortstops of all time. I have this SP rookie card in a PSA 9 and also a BGS 9 for this, so both in 9s, one in PSA and one in BGS. Looks like the PSA 9 is down about 6% over the past 90 days, whereas BGS 9 is down about 13%, and you can see pretty big price discrepancies between the BGS and the PSA 9 pricing. But it looks like one card's down about 6%, one's down about 13%, so we are still seeing a decrease in Derek Jeter and also Ken Griffey Jr. rookie cards, but it's not as much as a lot of the ultra modern and modern cards that we talked about earlier. But let's keep moving on here. The next card and player I have here is Rickey Henderson, another legend. I have his 1980 Topps. This is card number 482. This is his base rookie card. I have this in a PSA 9. And it looks like over the past 90 days, this card's actually up about 10.4%. So we'll call it 10% over the past 90 days. So this iconic rookie card is actually up over the past 90 days. The next card I have here is Nolan Ryan's rookie card. I have his 1968 Topps Baseball. I have this in a PSA 7 and also a PSA 6. Now, Nolan Ryan is a very iconic and arguably one of the greatest pitchers of all time. So let's take a look at how his cards have done over the past 90 days. Now, this is a 1968 card, so we are getting into some older, more vintage cards. So let's take a look at how these cards have been holding up. It looks like for the PSA 7, that's up about 22% over the past 90 days, whereas the PSA 6 is actually flat at about $1,500. So flat for the PSA 6, whereas the PSA 7 is up 22%. So we have actually seen a price increase for Nolan Ryan in his 1968 Topps rookie card, but let's keep moving on. The next card I have here is another fan favorite. This is Roberto Clemente. I have his 1955 Topps, and this is card number 164, his base rookie card. I have this in a PSA 4, a PSA 3, and a PSA 2. It was difficult to find this card in a higher grade with multiple sales, so for this I am going with a PSA 4, a PSA 3, and a PSA 2. Now let's check out how this card has done over the past 90 days. It looks like the PSA 4 is down about 17%. The PSA 3 is up about 47%, so pretty big gain for the PSA 3, and the PSA 2 is actually down about 7%. So it is pretty mixed for the Roberto Clemente, but the PSA 3 is up pretty significantly, up about 47% over the past 90 days. Next up, I have Hank Aaron. This is a very iconic rookie card. I have his 1954 Topps base rookie card. I have this in a PSA 6 and also a PSA 5. So let's take a look how Hammer and Hank's rookie cards are doing over the past 90 days. Looks like the PSA 6 is up about 15%, and the PSA 5 is actually up about 23%, but very limited sales on these Hank Aaron rookie cards. Looks like there's 2 sales for the PSA 6 and about 3 sales for the PSA 5. Both of them are still up of over 15% over the past 90 days. The next player I wanted to look at is another very iconic and legendary baseball player, one of the greatest of all time. This is Willie Mays. I have his 1951 Bowman base rookie card. I have this in a PSA 4, a PSA 3, and also a PSA 2. Looks like for the PSA 4, the last sale was about $12,100, so very expensive card here. This one is up about 13% over the past 90 days, but again, very limited sales on these, so take these with a grain of salt. Looks like the PSA 3 is flat, whereas the PSA 2 is down about 13%. So pretty mixed for this Willie Mays Bowman rookie card, but we're not really seeing the significant price decreases that we're seeing in a lot of the modern and ultra modern MLB baseball sports card market. And the last player and card on the list is an extremely iconic card. Again, I did not include his 1952 Topps. I did want to include his 1951 Bowman rookie card. And this one is in a PSA 3 of Mickey Mantle. And over the past 90 days, this card is actually up about 38%. Again, pretty limited sales on this, but still up almost 40%. This card recently sold for $17,000, so a very expensive card here. But this card, in turn, is up about 40% over the past 90 days. So after going over today's list of some of the greatest baseball players of all time, we covered some very iconic cards, some more vintage cards, but I think after reviewing the list, it did seem pretty apparent that a lot of these vintage Hall of Fame greats do appear to be holding up a lot better than the current ultra modern and modern MLB baseball sports cards. Now, I think a lot of this has to do with the fact that for a lot of these current players right now, they're dealing with injuries, strikes, slumps, and there's just a lot of uncertainty that's built into their cards, and there's also stuff that can happen off the field that can negatively impact their cards. Whereas with a lot of these Hall of Fame all-time greats, their legacies are already cemented. A lot of them have already passed away, so there's nothing that they can do off the field that will impact their cards. So I think that that's one of the main reasons why vintage cards are holding up a lot better than the modern and ultra modern MLB baseball sports cards. And I think another reason behind it is the print runs. As you can see, a lot of the modern and ultra modern cards, there are just a lot more rookie cards out there of a particular player, much higher print runs, whereas some of these vintage cards only have one rookie card. Whereas a lot of the current products have a lot of rookies and rookie inserts and stuff like that, and just a lot more cards available out there of these current players. So I think that also has a factor in this. But overall, it really does appear that the vintage all-time greats, MLB baseball sports card market is holding up much better than the modern and ultra-modern MLB baseball sports card market. But with all that being said, I really hope you found today's video somewhat entertaining and also informative. If you did, please feel free to hit the like button and also subscribe. Thanks, and have a good rest of your day. Bye.